They said the night shift was easy. Just keep the place clean and follow a few weird rules. But no one told me what happens if you break one. I thought I was just working at a McDonald's off I-40. Turns out I was part of something older. And now I can't leave because the system says I never clocked out. When I first got hired at McDonald's off in Oklahoma City, I thought it'd be easy money. I'm a night owl, and they needed someone for overnight shifts. Perfect match. My first night, the manager, Earl, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You sure you want to do this?" I laughed. "It's just flipping burgers, right?" He didn't laugh back. Instead, he handed me a laminated paper titled, "Night Shift Protocol, 12 Rules for Your Safety." I thought it was a prank, until I read them. The first few rules were normal. 1. Lock the front doors at midnight sharp. 2. No one gets in until 5 a.m. no matter what they say. 3. If a customer knocks on the window after closing, do not acknowledge them. Then it got strange. 4. If you hear a child's voice calling for their mother in the dining area after 2 a.m., stay in the kitchen. Do not answer. 5. If you see a black sedan parked under the drive-thru awning with headlights on but no driver inside, shut off the fryer and wait exactly 7 minutes before resuming work. I looked up at Earl. His eyes were fixed on the window, scanning the empty parking lot. He said, "This store has been here since '84. Weird shit happens after dark." Then he handed me a key on a lanyard. "Stay inside. Don't forget the rules." That first night felt quiet, almost too quiet. But at 2:12 a.m., the drive-thru intercom crackled. Even though no cars were outside, a child's voice whispered, "Mommy, are you there?" I froze, remembering rule number 4. I stayed in the kitchen, and the voice kept calling for nearly 10 minutes, softer and softer, until it sounded like it was right outside the kitchen door. I thought the first night's events were a fluke. Earl told me some shifts passed without anything weird happening. Maybe it was all in my head. But on my second night, it got worse. At 1:45 a.m., I was stocking the sauce packets behind the front counter when I heard the door chime. The same cheerful ding that goes off when someone comes in. But I knew the door was locked. I stepped to the front and saw a man standing by the register. He was tall, wearing an old brown coat, and staring straight ahead. His face was pale, almost gray, like he hadn't slept in days. I was about to yell at him to leave. He couldn't have come in, right? But then I remembered rule number 6 on the laminated sheet. 6. If you see a customer inside after midnight, and you're sure you locked the doors, do not engage. Remain out of sight until they leave on their own. So I backed up into the kitchen, peeking through the fry station. He didn't move, didn't look around, just stood there, eyes fixed on the soda machine. Seconds turned into minutes. I could hear the ticking of the kitchen clock growing louder with every passing second, until it felt like it was echoing in my skull. Then, he slowly raised his right hand, pointing directly at the kitchen window where I was hiding. He kept it there, unmoving, for a full 3 minutes. Suddenly, the door chime rang again. I peeked out. He was gone. No footsteps. No sound of the doors opening. Nothing. After that second night, I started memorizing the rules like my life depended on it. Every strange sound made my pulse spike. Every flicker of the lights felt like a warning. On my third night, things seemed quiet, until 3:13 a.m. The drive-thru headset crackled to life with a shrill beep that nearly made me drop a basket of fries. A man's voice came through, calm and low. "I'd like a number 9. Extra onions. Hold the lettuce." That would have been normal, except our headset system only worked when a car rolled over the pressure sensor outside. And the security monitors showed an empty drive-thru lane. I reached for the laminated rules. Rule number 9 burned in my mind. 9. If you receive an order between 3:10 and 3:20 a.m., and no car is present, do not respond. Do not touch the headset. Continue your task silently. I stepped away from the headset, heart pounding. But the voice kept going. "Hello? Can you hear me? It's important. I need the order." His tone shifted, growing more impatient, then angry. "Answer me! Answer me!" I backed into the freezer, clutching the laminated sheet to my chest. The voice on the headset dropped to a whisper so low I almost missed it. "I know you're in there. I see you." Suddenly, the security monitor flickered. For a split second, a black sedan appeared on the screen, headlights on, parked directly under the drive-through awning. Then it was gone. The headset fell silent. I stayed in the freezer for 20 minutes, shivering, before I dared step out. By my fourth night, I stopped trying to rationalize anything. I followed the rules, didn't ask questions, stayed alert. But something about that night felt different, like the store itself was holding its breath. Around 2:40 a.m., I was in the walk-in freezer checking inventory when the heavy metal door slowly creaked shut behind me. I wasn't worried at first. That thing never latched unless you pulled it hard. But when I tried to open it, it wouldn't budge. I shoved harder. Nothing. I pounded on the door and yelled for help, but no one else was scheduled that night. I was alone. Then I remembered rule number 11. 11. If you become trapped in the freezer and you're certain no one closed the door, stay absolutely still. Do not knock. Do not speak. The door will unlock when it's safe. My breath caught in my throat. The temperature inside was brutal, maybe 10 degrees. My teeth were chattering, and I could see my breath in the faint blue light from the ceiling bulb. I waited. 10 minutes. 15. Then I heard a sound, soft, like bare feet shuffling just outside the door. Then, a knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. I pressed my back to the freezer wall, heart hammering. I didn't move. Another knock. Then a whisper. Right through the door, low and gravelly. "You forgot Rule 8. My blood turned to ice. I hadn't even noticed there was a Rule 8. When the door finally clicked open on its own, I ran straight to the manager's office to reread the sheet. Rule 8 was real. It said, 8. If anyone ever mentions Rule 8 to you, clock out immediately. And don't return. The second I read Rule 8, I grabbed my coat and headed for the back exit. I didn't care about my paycheck. I didn't even clock out. But when I pushed the door open, it wasn't the parking lot outside. It was the dining area, still inside the store. I blinked, stepped back, checked the door. It was the back exit, but somehow it had looped me around. I turned to go back into the kitchen, but now the kitchen was dark, completely black. The fryers were off. The lights were out. Even the buzzing sound from the soda machine was gone. I was alone, until I wasn't. Behind the counter stood a silhouette, same height as me, same build, slowly raised its hand and waved. Then it mouthed something. I couldn't hear it, but I could read the lips. "You forgot to clock out." The lights in the dining area flickered. Every screen lit up, the register, the menu boards, the security feed. All of them showing the same thing. Me, standing behind the counter, smiling into the camera. But I wasn't smiling. I was watching, frozen, terrified. And then the intercom crackled again. Same calm voice from before. "Your shift is not over." I ran. Didn't care where, just away from the dining area, through the hallway, past the mop sink, into dry storage. But every door led back to the same place. The counter, the empty lobby, the smiling version of me. I finally collapsed behind the register, heart racing, clutching the crumpled rule sheet in my pocket like it could protect me. And then Earl appeared, not through a door, not with footsteps. He was just there, standing by the soda fountain, hands in his pockets like he'd been waiting the whole time. He said, "You were doing well." I stammered, "I followed the rules." He interrupted, "Most of them." Then he pointed toward the kitchen monitors. One showed the walk-in freezer still open. Another showed the drive-through still empty. And the third showed me, standing behind myself, watching. Earl walked toward me, slow and heavy. "The rules aren't just for your safety," he said. "They're how we tell who doesn't belong." I backed into the corner. "What are you talking about?" But he didn't answer. He just looked over my shoulder and smiled. I turned to look, but there was nothing there. Then darkness. When I woke up, it was 7:05 a.m. The sun was rising. The kitchen was humming. The door was unlocked. Everything was normal again. except the rule sheet was gone. And now, every morning when I check the security logs, there's one shift logged under my name I never remember working. Always between 3:10 and 3:20 a.m. And in those frames, I'm always smiling. I haven't taken another night shift since, but sometimes around 3:15 a.m., my phone buzzes. No name, no number, just a message that says, "Your shift is about to begin." If you're still listening, maybe you've worked a job like this too. Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You never know which shift might be your last.